It's Silver Squeeze Day, and it looks like there's one person who's having a whale of a time. Let's talk about that and $3,100 gold as we explore. There's no shortage of news coming out in the world of precious metals, and there is a doozy of a buy that has occurred by David Bateman. Amazing. Now, he is a former tech CEO, and I believe from Entrada Incorporated, was formerly associated with them, but he's got a lot of money. Nonetheless, he's made a posting this morning over at X that describes his reasoning behind making this massive purchase. Now, not only did he buy silver, he also bought gold and also platinum as well. But we'll get into his posting in a moment. First, I want to give you a market update on what all of the metals are doing, because there's been movement all over the place. Really, in a sense, it's almost Christmas time in the world of precious metals, and I say that because of the red-green phenomenon that happens, green meaning up and red meaning down. Today is the silver squeeze. 2.0, they're calling it, although I believe actually that it is, we're in version 7 now of some level. And this one is really piggybacking on what David Bateman has done, in the sense that physical accumulation is occurring all over the place. Now, I'm not for these coordinated buys, but nonetheless, there are bullion dealers that have lowered their prices for today. But watch what happens tomorrow in the coming days. But I believe in buying whenever you can for the right reasons, or the best reasons, I'll say. The best reason is to preserve your wealth over the long course of time. However, bullion dealers are having sales, and the sponsor of this channel is no exception. They have sales going on right now for the silver squeeze at 2.0 today. Now, there are codes that you enter, and I'm going to put them in the description below. The first one is if you buy 5 ounces of silver and are a new customer. That one is still in effect and has been in effect for quite a while. And but the prices that you see there for that one, as well as for spending a certain amount of money, of $389, I believe. And if you spend that much money buying silver, you will get, you enter in another code and you'll get $10 off. So the specifics will be in the link down below, and you can take advantage of that through midnight tonight. But again, those codes, people have been asking me about those codes. It's like, well, Sal, I go to the page and the price doesn't show spot or whatever the deal is. You have to enter in the codes at checkout in order to see the discounted price. But they will be there. They will honor those discounts, so check that out. So what happened in the precious metal space today? Well, gold broke yet another record, just as it did last night in the Asian markets when they opened on our live stream. I do a live stream whenever the markets open in Asia every Sunday night at 6 p.m. Eastern Time, so I hope you will join me there. But gold has broken yet another record again, over $3,100 an ounce right now, up over 1.2%. To $3,124.70. You may remember that I revised my prediction again to $3,200 gold by the end of the year. And it looks like we're going to get there pretty quickly. And the silver, though, on the other hand, is actually down slightly. It's down 6 cents today, as the moments before the markets closed, down 0.18%. to $34.11. Still above $34, but it's showing some resistance there. And it was down lower earlier in the day. In fact, it got down to $33.40 earlier in the day. So it was down pretty substantially. Would have been a good time to buy. And certainly, I think today would have been a good time to buy. It still is to some degree. Whenever there's a dip, it's always a good time to buy when there's a dip, if you can afford to do so. However, this has widened the gold to silver ratio to now above 91, almost 92. It got up to 92 to 1 earlier in the day. But silver's trying to recover a little bit here. Platinum is up $13 and palladium is up $17. Platinum now back over $1,000 an ounce again. And I've got an ounce of platinum on the way. Should have been here today, but it has not arrived yet. And palladium up $17, both up well over 1%. Rhodium, though, is down $75. It's down today to $6,000. So there's where the metals complex are. But what an amazing thing to see silver reach an all-time, gold reach an all-time high and just continue to climb up. I've made another a purchase of gold before this latest move upwards, and the thing that I bought has already gone up $100 in the ask price. So it's just crazy. It doesn't seem like there's much stopping gold at this point. What's behind it? Well, a lot of it is about these tariffs, and which are about ready to take effect. And there's other factors at play as well, too. There's a lot happening at the COMEX with both gold and silver. There's rumblings happening there. Not been totally confirmed as to what's behind it, but we may cover that once we learn more about that. But let's talk about what David Bateman did. And if he made this big purchase, which was done a while ago because he's taken delivery, and there's photos of his purchase that he has made, but it does not have had a dramatic impact on price, it seems. However, he did make a 1.5% of the annual global silver supply. That's what he purchased in silver. It's pretty amazing that somebody can do that. So over on X, he says, "Here are the reasons I invested close to $1 billion in precious metals over the past 6 months, including the purchase of 1.5% of the annual global silver supply, which equates to 12.69 million ounces." Man, that's crazy to think about. That alone very well is probably one of the biggest buys of anybody for the entire year. I don't know if any single individual that's made that big of a purchase ever, at least as long as I've been paying attention to the silver market. If you know of anybody who's bought more than that, post it in the comments section below. This is a big deal, folks, and has been confirmed over on his X post from himself. The global monetary system is about to collapse, the Great Reset or the Basel Endgame. And by the way, some of these things I don't necessarily fully align with some of his reasoning here. I think he might be, setting himself up for disappointment for making that big of a purchase. But nonetheless, I do believe that the global monetary system is in trouble, but I don't think it's about to collapse. Although he does reference the Basel Endgame and the Great Reset. And I think that there very well could be a reset, but I think they're already working in at least in part to try to set the stage for a reset that could happen before such a collapse occurs. But a reset means a revaluation of everything, including gold and silver will be a part of that. He also talks about the biggest credit bubble in history will soon pop to $300 trillion. Certainly agree with that, if all indications are that that's going to occur. Then he goes on to say there's no way the U.S. can refinance its $28 trillion in maturing treasuries in the next 4 years without an obscene amount of printing, or really what's more likely to happen is a digitization of money. But nonetheless, I don't know that the $28 trillion in maturing treasuries, I guess that means that's another argument for a great reset that could be coming. And maybe it would happen within the next 4 years. Trump tariffs are hastening the collapse, and it's by design. And I think that really, in a sense, very well could be an interesting theory here, that it's hastening a collapse, but maybe it's hastening a reset or restructuring, maybe a better word. But unless he's talking about the current system collapsing that, then I guess that could be one way to look at it, and quite possibly be what's going on. Gold and silver are the only meaningful life raft. Physical possession is everything. And he is standing by his words, because you should see the pictures. You should see the pictures. In fact, I'm gonna link to this X posting so you can see what it's about. You can read what he says, and see the photos of the physical bars. And I'm going to describe them here later in the video, so stay tuned for that. The whole world right now is a sophisticated game of musical chairs. The chairs are precious metals. Yes, interesting way to look at it. Crypto is a psyop, he says. Those who purchase will have no chair when the music stops. There's a great debate between the crypto space and the precious metal space. I don't think there's any comparison between the two. If people want to dabble in cryptos, that's fine. People have made a lot of money in them. But there is no comparison, none at all. In fact, there are some very smart crypto folks who have gold and silver, and I applaud them for doing that. To me, it's a fight I don't want to get in, so I don't know that I necessarily buy that it's a psyop, but nonetheless, I don't really dabble in that space. But I do believe in physical gold and silver, and I do believe they are the chairs. And I believe that everybody, no matter what your philosophy is, should have gold and silver in your portfolio. Real estate, crypto, stocks, and bonds will all lose significantly compared to precious metals. Yeah, it's all right. Let's see what happens. I very well could be right about that. The banking system has been meticulously designed to seize your assets to buoy up a collapsing banking sector. And he's referencing the Great Taking here. You have zero counterparty risk with precious metals. That's exactly right. No counterparty risk. Although I will emphasize, as I have been doing, is that you have single party risk. And certainly David has taken a lot of that on. He's got to secure his silver. And more likely he makes enough money that he can do that easily. But nonetheless, it is a good idea to understand that single party risk for sure. And now he tells you where he's at over the past 6 months on his purchases that he's made. He's up 20% already. Well, good for him. I think that's great and wonderful. That's outpacing inflation. He goes on to say, this is not a drill. Your grandkids someday will either muse or lament this financial decision you're now faced with. Don't fail them. And I think that's sage advice on this Silver Squeeze Day. And he certainly has lived up to it for sure, and doing it before the Silver Squeeze, doing it through the course of time in the past 6 months. So that's great. Now, he does say not financial advice, for educational purposes only, and I think that's good advice to make that disclaimer there. But what he's got here is strapped in pallets of what appears to be 1,000-ounce bars, good delivery bars, each, and it looks to be that there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. There's 30,000 ounces on each of these pallets that he's showing here, and they take up the whole image. They go back. It's crazy. A lot of silver there, and these 1,000-ounce bars. Absolutely amazing that he was able to take physical delivery, living up to his word there. But that's where we stand. Let me know what your thoughts are. This is quite an interesting bit of news today. Hope you found this video informative, insightful, and educational. Would like to extend a multitude of gratitude to each and every one of you for taking the time to watch, and to encourage you to please rate, share, comment, and subscribe.